I think, yeah, another example, and this one probably not a great example because I think most of us agree or would be opposed to it in hindsight. But let's look at like the Iraq War. Mm-hmm. We invade Iraq, all the bad that comes with that, the destruction, the death, both on the American side and innocent Iraqi people. But let's say, we removed Saddam Hussein, who was a horrible person. Let's just take it as a given. He was a horrible dictator.
Right.
And now we've left Iraq, quote unquote, the idea was better off. Did we violated a lot of individual liberty, but was the overall liberty, or I don't know, you want to call it collective liberty, I'm just trying to assign words.
Yeah.
Could someone come in and effectively argue, well, it was okay to violate some individual liberty because we actually made life better for the overall liberty? And I'm like, those are like, I don't know, I don't know, I'll stop there before I go any farther.
I have two things to say to that. The first is that I don't think it's possible to operate based on that as an ethic, because it requires you to know the effects of your actions with kind of certainty in a way that you can't. So like if you say we're going to invade Iraq and we're going to kill all these people or do whatever we do, drop all these bombs, and it's going to make life better for everybody. Well, you don't know it's going to make life better for everybody. You don't know it's going to make life freer for everybody. All you know is what you're doing. You don't know that the effect of what you're going is going to be. It can be lots of different things. And so I think it's difficult to make a set of ethics around those kind of ideas, because how do you decide in the moment whether what you're about to do is ethical or not? You have to guess. You have to guess at what's going to happen and say, well, I think this is going to have a good outcome, therefore it's ethical. And that's such a terrible slippery slope where like all these people we were just talking about, Lenin and Stalin and Pol Pot and Mao, they could have been justified their actions by saying that. They could say, well, the ends justify the means, and I'm going to make life better for everybody, so I get to do all this stuff. And then it turns out they were wrong, and it didn't make life better for everybody. It made life much, much worse for everybody. But you can only evaluate that in retrospect. And I think a set of ethics that you can only evaluate in retrospect is very dangerous and bad. I think you should be able to know before you do something, is this the right thing to do or is it the wrong thing to do?
Yeah, I agree with that very much. That's a very well put.
And then the other problem I have with what you said is you made a lot of kind of sweeping collectivist statements that we have to think about what they really mean. Things like we invaded Iraq to liberate the country. Well, like who's we, Who's the people who actually did it? Countries don't act, governments don't act, militaries don't act, individuals act. There were certain people who went and did certain things. And when you say we invaded, what does that mean? Does it mean we walked on the land in Iraq? Does it mean we imprisoned people there? Does it mean we shot people there? Does it mean we dropped bombs there? Like you need to break it down to this individual level to determine whether an act is moral or not, and say, well, John Smith of America dropped a bomb that killed Ahmed, Muhammad, and terrible stereotypical names. I don't know Arabic names. In Iraq. Was he justified in dropping that bomb? Like you have to evaluate the individual act. And I think you really get cloudy thinking when you start saying things like, oh, America invaded Iraq. Well, like that doesn't mean anything. Yeah. You have to look at the individual acts to know whether it's moral or not.